Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. Here now, this week's news and features from USA Wrestling, our national governing body of the sport. The busy winter tour season is here, and top U.S. international wrestlers are competing overseas, gaining experience for the Olympic year ahead. A number of U.S. teams have just returned from their Thanksgiving weekend of competition throughout Europe. We first head to Nice, France, where the U.S. men's freestyle team kicked it up a notch as they grabbed 6 medals at the Henri Dalglane Challenge, placing second in the team points, only behind Russia. At 132 pounds, the U.S. star there, Sean Bunch, won a gold medal. A 2009 World Team member, Bunch won 4 bouts on the way to his title. He opened up with a 9-2-6-0 win over Alexandra Borg of Romania. Then by the score of 2-1-1-1, Bunch defeated 2006 world silver medalist and fellow American Mike Zadek in the semis. In the championship finals, the score pressed a little closer. It was 1-0-1-0 as Bunch defeated Anton Ivanov of Russia. Now, 3 other U.S. wrestlers captured precious medal, silver, by the way. 2008 Olympic champion Henry Cejudo claimed silver at 121 pounds. Cejudo opened with a pair of victories, defeating Shakir Ansari of France and Rodrigo Rodriguez of Spain. Now, by the score of 1-3-2-6, Cejudo fell in the finals to Monaco's 2003 world silver medalist Gennady Tulbia. Former Iowa Hawkeye Phil Keddy won silver at 185 pounds. Keddy opened with a quarterfinal win over Jordan Noblet of France and a semifinal win over Israel's 2002 World University silver medalist Sergei Kolesnikov. Keddy was later defeated in the finals by Russia's Magomed Ibragimov by the score of 3-7-2-3. Now we go to 211 pounds. We see Win Mihalik. He went 2-1 competing in a 4-athlete round robin to win his silver. His final match was a score of 4-3-1-1, and that win over Muslim Sayapoyev of France. Along the path to silver, he beat fellow American Tommy Rowlands. Mihalik's only loss came in the second round when he faced Russia's 2010 junior world champion Shamil Akhmedov. The U.S. had 2 bronze medal finishes as well. Mike Zadek rebounded from his semifinal loss to Bunch, defeating Alexandra Borg of France 3-0-6-0 to claim the bronze medal at 132 pounds. Meanwhile, 185 pounds, John Reeder opened with a 3-period victory over U.S. teammate Travis Paulson. The score was 2-1-0-1-2-1, but then fell to Magomed Ibragimov of Russia 1-3-0-1 and ended the event winning the bronze medal. Meanwhile, over in Yamaoki, Finland, the United States won 6 medals at the Haavisto Cup of Greco-Roman. In a talent-laden field, Team USA placed second in the standings, only behind team champion Ukraine. The U.S. had 3 silver medal performances. Let's take a look. Opening with victories over Tufan Ahmadi of Finland and Egypt's Mustafa Abdelaziz was Team USA's second-ranked Paul Telgren, who placed second at 121 pounds. He lost to Ukrainian Sergei Storozenko in the finals. Meanwhile, 185 pounds, Zach Nielsen finished and turned in a silver medal performance, winning twice to reach the finals. Along the way, he pinned Velikari Suominen of Finland, then scored a 3-period win over Sergei Priskyera of Ukraine. Nielsen was edged by Ukrainian Vitaly Lishchinsky in the finals. 0-1, 0-1 the final there. Nielsen has dropped from 211 pounds in recent seasons to 185 pounds now. Now, in the battle of big men, Pete Kowalczyk won the silver at 264 pounds. Kowalczyk, a past university world medalist, scored 2 straight wins in 3 periods over Timo Kallio of Finland and Egypt's Abdul Rahman Yahu Eltrop. He was beaten in the gold medal match by the always tough Finn Taius Talali in the final there. The score 0-2, 0-1. In Finland, the U.S. also added 3 bronze medals to their collective haul. Meanwhile, Ben Sanchez was third at 145 pounds after he defeated Jerry Pitkanen of Finland 1-0-6-0 in the bronze medal bout. Marco Toledo won his bronze medal at 163 pounds. Toledo scored a 1-0-0-1-2-0 victory over Saverio Scaramuzza of Italy in his medal bout. Jake Kettler took third at 264 pounds. Kettler stopped Finland's Oskari Rahoji at 1-0-0-1-1-0 to bring home his medal. Placing 5th after losing a bronze medal match was Pete Goranidis at 211 pounds. Meanwhile, during the same weekend, the Karavayev Cup was held in Minsk, Belarus. 10 of the world's top wrestling teams were there and entered in this annual Greco-Roman dual meet tournament. Competing with a number of top stars, the United States had a 2-2 record in its pool and finished 6th overall in the team race. The United States scored victories over Poland and Lithuania by 4-3 margins. Belarus 1 defeated the USA 5-2, and Kazakhstan edged the U.S. 4-3. The U.S. ended up 3rd in its pool and did not qualify for a medal round. Russia defeated Belarus 1 by a 6-1 margin in the championship dual meet, and Georgia stopped Kazakhstan by a 4-3 score in the third-place bout. For the U.S., 2 athletes had 3-1 records. They were Ellis Coleman at 132 pounds and C.P. Schlater at 145 pounds. Against Belarus 1, Schlater scored a victory over 2008 Olympic bronze medalist Mikhail Semyonov, and against Poland, Schlater beat 2011 junior world silver medalist David Karashinsky. Coleman also defeated some top international opponents in the meet. Jesse Thilke went 2-1 at 121 pounds and also won another bout by forfeit. Brandon Rupp went 2-2 at 264 pounds, and also winning matches Chaz Betts at 185 pounds and R.C. Johnson at 211 pounds. Assistant national coach Momir Petkovic talked about the U.S. performance in Belarus.
First of all, the whole performance was much better than last year. Last year we got crushed like a team. 10 teams, top teams, great competition, 4 matches in a row. This year was much better. A few of our guys I'm very satisfied. Like I said, much better than last year, so hopefully, for next year we're gonna really kind of step up and do what we need to do like a team.
Well, the men's freestyle Olympic trials qualifier will be held this weekend, December 3rd at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Across the nation, top Olympic hopefuls have been training hard for the event. The top 3 athletes in each of the 7 weight classes who haven't already qualified for the 2012 U.S. Olympic team trials will earn a spot in the field at the 2012 U.S. Olympic team trials that will be held in April on the 22nd and the 23rd in Iowa City. There'll be 15 athletes from the U.S. Olympic Training Center's resident program that will compete in the freestyle qualifier, all seeking to punch their ticket to Iowa City. The National Freestyle resident coach Brandon Slay has been preparing the athletes for this very opportunity. We caught up with Brandon at Olympic freestyle practice at the training center and spoke to him about the importance of the event.
Well, as many people know, freestyle, we don't have a U.S. Open this year. So normally we qualify our guys for the trials via the U.S. Open, but since we don't have one this year, this qualifier this weekend is very important for our freestyle team to be able to continue to qualify guys for the Olympic trials in Iowa City on April 21st and 22nd.
Well, top Olympic hopefuls across the country are also completing their training for the competition. We also visited an early morning workout of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club at the U of I, where a handful of the athletes who trained there still need to earn their spots. Hawkeye Wrestling coach Mike Duro talks about the challenge ahead for the athletes who will compete.
It's an event where it's important to do well, but certainly not peak for. There's a fine line between getting totally peaked and being peaked enough to win and to do as well as you need to do. This is going to be a tough event. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be very competitive. Those 21 spots, it's going to be a dogfight. So there's a lot of very good wrestlers trying to get those spots into the final trials. But I think our guys are ready to go.
Well, the tournament will be held alongside the Cliff Keen Collegiate Invitational, one of the best college events every year. Craig Sesker, Jason Bryant will be there to bring you the USA Wrestling action from Las Vegas on themat.com. Well, excitement continues to build for April's U.S. Olympic team trials at Carver Hawkeye. 2-time world medalist and Olympic bronze medalist Terry Brands explains why fans will truly enjoy witnessing the Olympic trials in person.
Comes around once every 4 years. It really is the second to best wrestling event that Americans could possibly watch in a 4-year cycle, other than the Olympic Games themselves. And sure, you can throw in the World Championships and you can throw in the NCAA Championships, which are all very important, but we're talking about the Olympic Games. We're talking about going back in history to when wrestling was formed and when wrestling was invented by the ancients, and the patriarchs, going back that far, and settling something man versus man or woman versus woman, settling something one against one in an environment that Carver Hawkeye Arena can produce. Why not be here?
Now let's go to Liberty Lake, Washington. Dateline November 19th. The new USA Wrestling Folkstyle Tour of America kicked off with a successful Northwest Bigfoot Battle. This major youth folkstyle tournament attracted talented athletes from across the Northwest region from around the nation for an early season test. There were 373 entries in the tournament, a big increase from last year's numbers. Competition was held in bantam, intermediate, novice, middle school divisions, along with true beginners in all 4 age levels. There's great competition in all weight classes. The event scores points in the U.S. Future Olympian rankings as well. The next Folkstyle Tour of America event will be held this weekend. The new King of the Mountain, held at the Douglas County Event Center in Castle Rock, Colorado, will take place on the 3rd of December. Stay tuned. There's more news from across the country. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
Each season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Well, this week, USA Wrestling Weekly is taking a road trip on a bus with Women's Freestyle USA to Iowa City, Iowa, the site of the 2012 U.S. Olympic Team Trials. USA Wrestling's national women's coach, Terry Steiner, is conducting a training camp for many of the top Olympic hopefuls in women's freestyle wrestling at Carver Hawkeye Arena at the University of Iowa. Steiner was a 1993 NCAA champ at Iowa and 3-time All-American there, who returns now to his alma mater as the leader of the U.S. women's wrestling program. Prior to the trip, Steiner explained to us the reason he brought his top Olympic hopefuls to the Mecca for the wrestling world, Iowa.
The University of Iowa and Iowa City and Coralville is using this as a kind of a kickoff weekend to promote the Olympic trials in Iowa City and around the state of Iowa. So we'll be involved in a few promotional events while we're in Iowa City to help promote the trials and to help expose, the Iowa people to women's wrestling. To get in there and just have a good training camp. You know, the University of Iowa, our Carver Hawkeye Arena is a great training facility, and I'm used to it, I guess. I've been there for a long time, or I was there a long time, so it's just a great training facility, and I want to take advantage of that.
Well, the women's team includes 4 past world medalists and many other U.S. World Team members, all top Olympic team hopefuls. For the U.S. women, the trip began on Monday with an early morning workout at the U.S. Olympic Training Center. They broke a good sweat and worked on individual drills. Afterwards, the team loaded up their bags and got on a bus for the 14-hour trip. The bus left Colorado Springs, heading east, trailing through the fields of Nebraska, on and into Iowa before arriving in the wrestling fertile hills of Iowa City. The talented team spent that night at a hotel owned by Olympic medalist Lincoln McElravy. The team's first practice in Iowa came early on Tuesday and included a tour of legendary Carver Hawkeye Arena. Coach Steiner showed the team that competition area where they will be competing for a spot on the Olympic team in 5 short months. The team then entered the historic Dan Gable Wrestling Complex on the second floor, where the Hawkeye Wrestling Club senior athletes were already deep into their first workout of the day. Iowa head coach Tom Brands welcomed the team, and the women had the chance to work out side by side with the men's freestyle Olympic hopefuls. The first workout of the day was an individual training session where athletes got the kinks out from the long day on the bus. At this practice, the team found Terry Steiner's portrait on a wall of past NCAA champs from Iowa. He was posed in his wrestling stance, situated between the images of Lincoln McIlravy and Joel Sherritt. Talk about good company. Well, the women had fun picking on their coach about the photo. During the week, most of the U.S. team meals are being sponsored by local businesses. Chick-fil-A and Panera Bread at the local mall in Coralville were the gracious hosts for the women at lunch the first day. Well, the second workout was at 1:30, and the women had the wrestling room to themselves. Coach Steiner, Izzy Izboynikoff, and Keith Wilson pushed the women for 2 hours, including quite a bit of live wrestling. Well, it was an impressive workout, to say the least. Tuesday was media day for the Iowa team, and over a dozen media members were there at the end of women's practice. They interviewed Coach Steiner and a number of the women wrestlers about their training camp. Afterwards, the women watched an intense Iowa team practice, enjoyed a pep talk from Coach Tom Brands, then witnessed the top-ranked Hawkeyes preparing for Illinois and Iowa State. Dinner was again sponsored by a local business, Hy-Vee Food Stores, which provided a buffet for the team members. An hour later, the women had their third workout of the day. It was another individual practice with the coaches working with different athletes, and they had a group sauna at the end as well. Now, Coach Steiner was pleased with the first day of the intense training at Iowa.
Well, I think it's exactly what I thought it was. You know, I mean, it's an exciting place to be. I mean, you're in the Iowa Dome. If you can't get inspired here, I don't care who you are, as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling enthusiast, you know, something's wrong. You know, and then watching the Iowa practice today, I think was a good thing. I mean, I think they saw some intensity. I think they saw some focus, some discipline, just what it really is, you know. I mean, champions are made by hard work.
Well, the women's team will train in Iowa City for a week and do a number of public appearances, including an exhibition during the Iowa-Illinois dual meet. We'll have an update on this story on next week's show. All right, it's time for this week's USA Wrestling Weekly Technique segment. It comes from USA Wrestling's core curriculum series, Folk Style Level 2, featuring the front headlock go behind. Well, the technique is instructed by USA Wrestling National Freestyle Developmental Coach Bill Zadek, with U.S. Olympic Training Center resident athlete Destin McCauley serving as his demonstration partner.
First scoring hold we're going to talk about in our counter offense is a go behind. Probably the most common and very simple, but very effective. In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the most overlooked scoring opportunities in neutral position. A lot of times we see ourselves right here, and anytime we have an opponent below us, we should be scoring go-behinds. Okay, so I have my opponent stop, shoulder on top, cupping the chin, a lot of weight pressure on him here. I'm going to continue to use his momentum to pull him forward and get heavy on him, break him down to an elbow or a shoulder. Once I have him broke down here, I'm going to beat the corner, beat his hip or beat his shoulder with my hip. I'm still maintaining a lot of weight pressure on his head end, and I'm going to run to the leg. I'm going to grab the hamstring, the ankle, or the butt, and run behind to secure my takedown. Very, very important to emphasize that when I run go behind, I'm not reaching to the waist. Too often, we get all the way to the side or behind the guy and reach to the waist, and our opponent tripods up and gets the near arm in our way, and we've just lost everything we did. So, very important. From here, once we break him down, we beat the corner with our hip and run to the butt with a hamstring, or we can run behind for the takedown. Notice also, when I beat the corner from the other side, I get in here, this hand, I keep the chin, and I beat the corner with my hips, but notice my forearm. It's on top of his head where I can maintain weight and pressure on his front end. As I run to the leg and run the go behind, I still keep weight pressure on the front end so I don't release and let go. A lot of times we'll have an opponent, we'll tripod circle out like we talked about, or run out. If I let go of the head here, I give him an opportunity to run out. So that's why we want to keep that weight pressure. We stop here, weight pressure on the front end. Boom. If I have to, I can really drive into them to secure the takedown. So right here, run it down. Covering his hips. Covering his hips. The more comfortable and more familiar I get with this position, it'll look even quicker and quicker because I recognize his momentum and I catch him on the way in. As he shoots, right to his face. I've already beat corner with hips and I'm running it down.
Stay tuned, there's more news from around the world. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly. Wrestling fans, USA Wrestling has launched a top social networking site designed for you. USA Wrestling Nation is the latest innovation provided to the wrestling community by our sports national governing body, USA Wrestling. Post photos, blogs, and videos, interact on boards. Keep up with your favorite wrestling personalities with USA Wrestling Nation. It's free to register. Join the thousands of wrestling fans that have already signed up and become a part of the USA Wrestling Nation at usawrestlingnation.com. During last week's Freestyle Team USA training camp in New Jersey, a special event was held for coaches from the Beat the Streets program in New York City. National Freestyle coach Zeke Jones, past Olympic team coach Bobby Douglas, and 2009 world silver medalist Jake Herbert provided the instruction at the 2011 Beat the Street Coaches Summit at the world-famous New York Athletic Club. The event was organized by Beat the Streets board trustee Noel Thompson. What started as a way to help coaches learn skills and tactics for leading better practices turned into a challenging workout and insight into the mindset of these great champions. Herbert led the coaches through a series of warm-up exercises, skill-building drills, and advice on how to keep kids interested and motivated at all levels of the sport by keeping it fun. Douglas took questions about motivating wrestlers, garnering administration support for the team, and the importance of wrestling for the inner-city youth. Jones then spoke about putting together a successful program, the importance of summer wrestling camps, and engaging those who can help and support the team. Now, when the summit was over, the participants changed into their jackets and collared shirts for an awesome dinner at the 12th floor of the club with a terrace look at Central Park. It was a chance for three living legends to help the coaches of New York City to develop great wrestlers and programs. Zeke Jones talks about the importance of this program and its impact on the sport.
It was great to see middle school coaches, high school coaches from the Beat the Streets program around New York City and the different boroughs and islands to, come together to talk about not only technique. Jake Herbert was on the mat with the coaches, as well as Bobby Douglas and myself. We're able to talk, about tactics, about strategy, about technique. It was just great. It was really a good chance to bring coaches together to have discussion about building programs and making them successful.
Well, the newest edition of USA Wrestler, the official magazine of USA Wrestling, is now available online in its digital form. The December 2011 edition of USA Wrestler can be viewed in its entirety. USA Wrestling National Freestyle coach Zeke Jones is on the cover. Jones led Freestyle Team USA to a third-place finish at the 2011 World Championships and is the subject of a major feature article in the magazine. You can find this digital edition of USA Wrestler on themat.com and on USA Wrestling's Facebook page. The last 8 editions of USA Wrestler are also available online for viewing as well. Good news, it's time for our Photo of the Week with pictures sent in by wrestling families and fans from across the country. They're also being considered for the photo contest page in USA Wrestler magazine and our USA Wrestling Facebook page. This week, USA Wrestling Weekly's Photo of the Week is taken by Stacy Rose. It depicts 6-year-old Tanner Rose, who competes for the Caney Wrestling Club in Caney, Kansas. You can have your photographs considered for the contest simply by emailing them to Gary Abbott at gabbett@usawrestling.org. All right, we're running late to break, folks. Thanks for joining us right here on USA Wrestling Weekly. For all of us, I'm Scott Casper. Good night.